Good afternoon. I'd like to call the Higher Education Subcommittee to order. We have one bill on the agenda. Oh, and we need to start by taking the roll. Madam Clerk, please open the board to take the roll. Madam Clerk, take the roll, please.
Mr. Chairman, you have 4 members present. Mr. Chairman, you have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. We have one bill on our calendar today, Wednesday, February 26th. It's House Bill 738 by Representative Parkinson. We've got a motion and a second on your bill. Representative Parkinson, you're recognized.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. And Mr. Chair, if you allow me a point of personal privilege, I want to thank you for helping me to help myself yesterday, because I accidentally wrote this bill and not remembering that our good people were coming here. Some of them traveled from a long way to be here, and that they wanted to speak on the bill, and you extended grace for us to actually hear the bill today. And so I truly appreciate it, because you didn't have to do that.
My pleasure.
Say that. Yeah. And so what House Bill 738 does, it's expanding educational opportunities for cosmetology and barbering students. Here's our problem that we deal with. Many Tennessee students who want to pursue a career in cosmetology or barbering, they face waiting lists at our Tennessee Colleges of Applied Technology. And so it limits their ability to enter the workforce quickly. Additionally, it puts their Hope scholarships at risk of being lost. And so what this bill does, this bill allows high school graduates to use their Hope scholarship funds at a private or for-profit cosmetology and barbering school, but only if there is a waiting list in their Tennessee College of Applied Technology in their county. And so this ensures that no taxpayer dollars are wasted. And what it does also, it promotes workforce readiness. It gets students job ready faster, and it strengthens Tennessee's skilled trades industry. It also uses existing funds wisely. So it only redirects Hope scholarships when the public schools cannot meet the demand. Lastly, it supports free market competition. So it gives students the opportunity for more choice. And I want to say this before, 2 things before I close. This bill is a smart, fiscally responsible solution that expands the job training opportunities in our state while ensuring the good stewardship of Tennessee's education funds. This is what my intentions are today. We have another amendment that we're going to be adding to the legislation. I want to thank legal for and fiscal review for helping me find a spot that I missed in the bill to make sure that this bill is as narrow as possible and speaks only to those students that are in dual enrollment and already using their Hope scholarship. So it's just a natural transition coming out of school. So we want to make sure we put that language in there. We're going to be amending that, and then we'll put the amendment on next week, and then this bill will go to the lottery calendar if you guys so deem necessary. Okay. And Mr. Chairman, I think we got people here that want to talk about.
Yes. So if you're ready.
Yes, sir. I'm ready.
Okay. Then we will go out of session and invite 4 individuals up to speak who are on our list. Ms. Gibbs, Ms. Newcomb, Ms. Coca, and Mr. Romaine. If y'all would like to come up, we've got 3 chairs, and then we've got a spot at the podium. That might be a microphone for each of the 4 of you. Oh, is there only 2 chairs? Okay, so we've got 3 microphones and 3 chairs at the table and 1 podium. So let me invite the 4 of you up. And then as our committee's policy, I'm going to give you each 4 minutes to make remarks. Take just a few seconds at the very beginning to introduce yourself for the record, but then get to your remarks. My word of advice is make sure you get to what you want to tell us. The typical, you can come to the podium if you like, the typical, I guess, error otherwise is 2.5 or 3.5 minutes of wind up and then frantically getting through what you want to say in the last 30 seconds. So let's start with Ms. Gibbs.
Afternoon now. I'm Lori Gibbs. I'm the Director of Operations at Austin's Beauty College in Clarksville, Tennessee. We currently service not only the Montgomery County area, but also many of our students are from the Fort Campbell Army base. We also have many students from surrounding counties such as Houston County, even as far away as Stewart County, Humphreys County, and Dixon County. I would like to share with you a situation that I personally know how this would have affected a student that we currently have. She is not a student at our school. She's actually an employee. She's our salon coordinator, and she's currently attending Austin Peay University. I know her personal situation because she is my niece. So I want to share her story with you so you can know why this is dear to us for our students to have options. Isabella went to, and I do have permission to share her name, she went to Clarksville High School. She is a graduate in the class of 23. Her freshman year of high school and her sophomore year of high school, she obtained over 500 cosmetology hours. Also, at the end of her sophomore year of high school, she wound up moving to Florida for a year. And then when she came back her senior year, she could not, for medical reasons, for a family member, she could not enter the cosmetology program. So she did not have the opportunity to finish her cosmetology degree in high school. Well, when she was getting close to graduating that year, her intentions, as she's planning her career, her first choice was to finish her cosmetology degree because she only needed approximately 1,000 hours to do that and could have that finished, at least at our school, within 6 to 7 months, and then be working in that field if she chose to pursue additional education, which that was her dream, to work in the cosmetology field. As she was pursuing that and she learned that that was not going to be possible for her to use the Hope Scholarship, at our school, she began to seek other options, and TCAT was definitely one of them. And as she was pursuing that and she found out about certain waiting lists, she said, I can't do that because my father passed away my freshman year. I have his death benefits I need to use, and I have to start using them this September. So in her situation, she had to make a choice to pursue a 4-year degree. She is currently in her sophomore year at Austin Peay. She chose to go ahead and pursue the nursing career, and she's struggling. She is struggling passing that nursing exam, being able to obtain even getting into the nursing program. So because of that, she is now working in the field that she loves as a salon coordinator, making less money than she would be making if she were out there working in a cosmetology salon, pursuing her dream. And we are a family-based business. And so her dream ultimately is to come to work in that at the time that she was choosing that career. But now she is in university, and she would like to pursue that career later on, but she will not be able to use any of those high school hours now, because at that point we test our students in to see what hours we can accept from them as to where they're at. They also lose their entire hours 7 years from the time they start the program if they do not finish. They're all gone at one time, whatever they've earned at another school. So I wanted to share that with you so that you could see the importance of a student being able to pursue their dream, being able to use the funds that are there for them and available for them if they're eligible to go into the field of study where they choose. I think it's important that the student's money goes with them and that they have more options than either going to a school that you have to wait and now you want to go ahead and get started, but because of other circumstances in her situation, she could not wait. And so therefore now she is pursuing her second choice, which she's doing a very good job. And she's an excellent salon coordinator, but she's definitely not making the money working part-time as she would be in the cosmetology field.
Okay.
If she did choose that.
Thank you, Mrs. Gibbs. Next on our list is Miss Newcomb.
So my name is Savannah. I work at the Aveda Arts Nashville campus in Franklin. Been there for over 11 years. With our institute, we offer in the scope of practice for license for cosmetologists and aesthetics. With that, with this industry, we have people that are coming right out of high school that knew that they always wanted to do this. And with that being said, being a mentor to these students. They have discussed going to college for 2 years, dropping out because that's what their parents told them to do. And if you think about taking the Tennessee Promise or Tennessee Hope, leaving school and not graduating and waiting longer to come back, we're losing money there, right? The next piece of this, we have students that travel from Alabama, they move to Tennessee, from Kentucky, all over Middle Tennessee State, and they come to our school. And with that, when you look at the financial burden that they have, our school, it's 200 days for them to go to school and it's 30 hours a week. So because of the financial burden and the loans that they've taken out, they are having to take multiple jobs and work in school, which is not good for their mental health and well-being. It's also attendance, which is taking them longer. And so, even for myself, I went to a school that was not accredited and was only offered, it was loans or cash pay. And I can say that if I had that opportunity to have more money, it would have been a lot less financial burden for me paying loans for years.
Thank you, Ms. Newcomb. Next on our list is Ms. Coca.
Keiki.
Keiki.
No worries. Thank you. Hi. Thanks for having me. Connie Keiki. I am the director of the Aveda Institute in Franklin, Tennessee. I work with Savannah. And just to piggyback off what she said, my role as the campus director, I meet with a lot of parents. And I will just say from a parent perspective, myself being a parent, I hear so much from them. They wish they would have allowed their student or their child to pursue their dreams, right? Instead, forcing them to go to a traditional college to use their Promise scholarship. And while I understand that, and I understand the benefit of having something that you want to feel like you need to use, most of those students, when they come to us, it hasn't served them in any way to go through the role of going to college and dropping out, right? Their mental health, as Savannah said, is at an all-time high of being very stressed and not wanting to do something that they were forced to do when they get to us. One of the other things I wanted to just mention is, I was reading an article yesterday about barbering specifically. Barbering is set to grow 7% over the next 10 years, according to the U.S. Bureau of Labor Statistics. So again, an opportunity for so many young people to follow their dreams right out of high school, which I think is wonderful. That rate exceeds the growth of most professions, which again is wonderful. But a large pool of young adults being guided into programs that they have no desire to finish, which is what they tell us. They have no desire to finish college like my parents wanted me to, by them getting the opportunity to start something immediately and follow that and then be gainfully employed within a shorter period of time, hopefully is the desired outcome for all of us and as parents as well. And I just, again, removing that barrier from high school grads and allowing them the freedom of career goals immediately, I think serves everybody well in the long run. So yeah, nothing really else to add because I think they both shared a lot of what I deal with as well. And I really hope that we can allow them to have the freedom to be able to choose what they want to do versus being guided into something because they feel like they need to be using something that they've been given. So thank you.
Okay, thank you, Ms. Keiki. And last, Mr. Romaine.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman and members of the committee for affording us some of your time today. Greatly appreciated. I'm Don Romaine. I'm with the Douglas J. Institutes, and we operate an Aveda Institute in Knoxville. We offer barbering as well as cosmetology and aesthetics, which is skincare, essentially. We have an 84% graduation rate. Of those graduates, we have a 96% placement rate. 95% of those students are female. And of those graduates that are placed, 96% of them stay, work, and live in the state of Tennessee. HB 738 is requesting the state to expand eligibility criteria for the Tennessee Promise. And by expanding the eligibility requirements in a cautious and measured way, students would be able to access and leverage the Promise program to complete their post-secondary education and transition into a fulfilling and rewarding career in a much more expedited fashion. As I mentioned, Douglas J is located in downtown Knoxville. We provide learners with the skills and credentials necessary to begin employment in a wide variety of careers. Many in our industry are thought of just as the haircutters. It goes well beyond that. Manufacturers, reps, etc., where licensure is required. For an industry that's dominated by female service providers, the scheduling and flexibility and portability of their skills in this field is very attractive, especially for working mothers who seek good pay in a part-time job. Many pursue careers directly in salons as an employee, but they also have dreams of becoming small business owners, and a great many of them follow through on that and do become small business owners here in the state of Tennessee. So a question that I ask occasionally, and I'll ask you today, doesn't it seem only right that the dollars ought follow the student as opposed to the institution? Expanding this access will be a benefit to the people of Tennessee, and especially those seeking to step up for themselves and for their families. And finally, it creates a great ROI for the taxpayers of Tennessee. So with that, I believe we would be open to any questions you may have of us.
Thank you, Mr. Romaine. While we're out of session, let's take this opportunity to ask questions. And first on my list is Representative Glenn.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I must be on the front row. Thank you all for being here. Obviously, I can kind of tell in your voices the passion you have for students who want to pursue their dreams, and whatever that dream may be, cosmetology, professional baseball player. I think when we can help them to pursue that and really take part in that, I think we do a justice for society. So thank you for that. A couple of questions for you all. On average, and any one of you can answer it, what's the timeline for students waiting and for students who actually get into the course? How long is the course? And then how long is the wait list for the course? I don't care who answered.
As far as the program length, the cosmetology program, they can finish in less than a year. The aesthetics program in 6 months, and then our manicuring program in less than 5 months on a full-time basis. Waiting list, we are full right now. We actually have had to limit our aesthetics program to starting quarterly, where we were doing every other month. Our Cosmo program, we've had to postpone 2 start dates at this point. So there are waiting lists, I would say, at our privates, because we're a smaller school. We average about 128 students. So our wait list is typically anywhere from 3 months to 6 months, depending on the program they're going to be enrolling in.
In as well. Wait list, believe that there's a 75 student wait list right now for the TCAP program in this field in cosmetology. But one thing to bear in mind is that a great many of these students come out of high school with credits already, having taken a portion of this program. And so their time in that program might actually be reduced, depending. So.
Representative Glenn.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. I actually had the pleasure of visiting our TCAT about 2 weeks ago in Clarksville. And it was at that time I actually learned that one of our other schools had closed down. Which one? Yes, Queen City College had closed down. And it was there that I learned that. And at that time, while I was at TCAT, and I asked, as they took me around, and I asked about the waiting list for each of the programs. I will tell you it was a substantial waiting list for all of them, which let me know that there's a demand in TCAT for all the programs that they offer. The only one that did not have a demand, believe it or not, was actually law enforcement. I thought that was interesting. But the demand itself to have to wait, and again, this is my thoughts, hurts the child, hurts the student who wants to move forward. So if we can get them into their desired profession faster, I'm all for it, because I do know for a fact that if they do not get into where they want to go quickly, they actually lose interest in it, and then you find yourself in a job that you hate. I actually met someone in my office a little bit earlier who said they hate their job, even though they had been in it for a while. So I do understand the need to make sure that we are getting our young folks into that profession. But out of curiosity, you all are accredited, is that correct? Okay. And so that says a lot right there. So I will tell you, I support the bill, because I do think we do have to make sure we're getting our young folks in as quickly as possible. My granddaughter actually takes cosmetology in high school as well. So for me, it's more personal, and I think it means a lot that we get them in. So thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Any other discussion for our panelists from out of session? Okay, seeing none, then thank you all for coming to Nashville and for sharing this information with us. It'll help us make informed decisions. And we will go back into session. Okay, Representative Parkinson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Just two things, and one, just out of personal privilege, if you don't mind, Mr. Chair, I want to recognize Mr. Dale Jones, also with Paul Mitchell Schools. Mr. Jones, stand up, wave your hand if you don't mind, so they know you're here. All right. And back on the bill, Mr. Chair, I think it's important to note also that this in no way will, as narrow as we're drawing this in no way will, I don't think, will harm our Tennessee colleges of applied technology. In Shelby County, the wait list that the young man spoke about was, in Shelby County, there's a 75-person wait list. This bill, in the way it's drawn, is drawn so narrow that I honestly think there's still going to be some kind of wait list in Shelby County, even after we do this bill. And so we just want to make it so that those students that are in dual enrollment in our high schools can access or continue to access their Hope dollars for that specific trade, not to transfer into another trade, but for that specific trade once they come out of high school, in the event that there is a wait list. And with that, Mr. Chair, unless you have any questions or.
Does anyone have any questions for Representative Parkinson? Any discussion for him? Representative Glenn?
Thank you, Mr. Chairman. Again, I must be on the front row. That's a joke. Inside joke. Representative Parks, on this piece of legislation here, in narrowing it down, trust me, I support the legislation. I think it's a good piece of legislation. In narrowing it down to just the cosmetology schools, is there selected schools that get this, or is it just any cosmetology school that, as long as it's accredited, any across the state can actually come in and apply as well?
Representative Parkinson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. You would think that I asked him to ask that question, but I didn't, right? And so let's talk about that narrow drawing of the legislation. And there's an amendment coming. So, number one, we want those students that are in dual enrollment courses in their high schools that are cosmetology or barbering. Once they graduate, then if there is a waiting list for the TCAT in their county, in their home county, so it's getting more narrow, in their home county, then they can utilize the rest of that Hope Scholarship or whatever, they have available to them to go to one of these schools that may be in their home county. And so, but these schools have to be NACIS accredited. NACIS is the accrediting agency specifically for cosmetology and barbering schools, or those schools that are in the cosmetology industry. And so we're not saying, hey, you were in cosmetology and barbering in high school, and now you can come out and use this for something else. Specifically, it's just a straight line pipeline, only in the event that the TCAT has a waiting list. Did that answer your question? Okay, thanks.
Okay, any further discussion? Representative Parkinson.
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, committee, for your indulgence. I want to roll this bill a week, Mr. Chair, to get the proper language in place, and then have it heard that we can then possibly, if the committee will, get it to the lottery calendar.
Okay, absent objection, roll 1 week. Any other business to come in front of the committee? I think it's because we're going to amend it. Any other business to come in front of the committee? Okay, if not, then we are adjourned.